Michigan's EV future. Investment needed to stay competitive. Freedom to drive electric tour. Picture this. A state that has long been the heartbeat of America's automotive industry now finds itself at a crossroads. Michigan, once the undisputed king of car manufacturing, is grappling with how to stay ahead in the rapidly evolving electric vehicle EV race. Clean energy proponents are raising their voices, calling for increased investment in the state to ensure it doesn't fall behind in this global competition. But here's where it gets controversial. What does this push for EVs really mean for jobs, infrastructure, and the everyday driver? This week, as part of the National Freedom to Drive Electric Tour, stakeholders gathered to discuss Michigan's role in the EV revolution. The message was clear. Without bold action, Michigan risks losing its edge in the electric vehicle market. Currently, the state is home to the production of 6 EV models and has attracted over $20 billion in investments, which sustain 34,000 jobs. While these numbers are impressive, clean energy advocates argue that more needs to be done to secure Michigan's future as a leader in sustainable transportation. One key voice at the event was Ingham County Commissioner Gabrielle Lawrence, who emphasized the importance of making her region more EV-friendly. "We don't want people to feel stranded because they can't find charging stations," she explained. To address this concern, local leaders have committed to ensuring that charging infrastructure is not only widespread, but also convenient and reliable. The goal? To make sure drivers can easily access a charging station within a reasonable distance whenever they need one. This initiative reflects broader goals outlined in Michigan's climate plan, which envisions significant changes on the road, including the development of infrastructure to support 2 million EVs by 2030. However, there's a catch. The recently proposed 2026 federal budget includes drastic cuts to renewable energy funding, including a staggering $6 billion earmarked for EV chargers. For a state like Michigan, which relies heavily on federal support to build out its EV ecosystem, this could be a major setback. Without adequate resources, the dream of becoming an EV powerhouse might remain just that, a dream. And this is the part most people miss. While the shift toward electric vehicles promises cleaner air and reduced greenhouse gas emissions, it also raises legitimate concerns about job security. Critics, including some members of the United Auto Workers (UAW), worry that the rise of EVs could lead to fewer employment opportunities. Why? Because electric vehicles are generally simpler to manufacture than their gas-powered counterparts, requiring less labor overall. This has sparked fears of layoffs and lower wages among workers who have spent decades building traditional cars. So, where does this leave Michigan? On one hand, the transition to EVs represents an exciting opportunity to innovate and lead in a growing industry. On the other hand, it poses real challenges for workers and communities dependent on the auto sector. Is it possible to balance progress with protection? Can Michigan chart a course that safeguards both its economy and its environment? As the debate unfolds, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Michigan should double down on EV investments, even if it means potential job losses in the short term? Or should the state prioritize protecting its workforce while gradually embracing electrification? Share your opinions in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Clean Cruise 2025. Electric vehicles take over Woodward Avenue. Electric vehicles are set to take over Woodward Avenue in Royal Oak for the second annual Clean Cruise event. Organizers promise a bigger and better show this year, with more EVs, speakers, kids' activities, and even food trucks. DTE Energy will also be offering test drives in popular electric models from Tesla, Chevy, Ford, Jeep, and Cadillac. The main event is the official EV Cruise, which will see a procession of electric vehicles led by a blue Kia EV9, traveling up and down Woodward between Birmingham and Ferndale. Last year's inaugural Clean Cruise drew 40 participating EVs and 250 to 275 attendees. This year, organizers expect upwards of 60 EVs and 500 spectators. Despite challenges like the loss of federal tax incentives, EV sales have continued to grow in 2025, according to Cox Automotive. Supporters say events like the Clean Cruise help educate the public and get people excited about electric vehicles in a fun, apolitical setting. With global EV adoption poised to impact jobs in Michigan, some view resistance to the technology as a potential threat. The Michigan Conservative Energy Forum, a right-leaning group, is one of the main organizers of the cruise, highlighting the bipartisan appeal of EVs. The goal is simply to showcase the benefits of EV ownership and dispel common myths, with a wide range of models on display. The Clean Cruise aims to demonstrate that there are great EV options for every budget and interest. Michigan's EV surge. Are we ready for 2 million by 2030? Michigan is seeing a remarkable rise in electric vehicle EV registrations, yet it remains miles away from Governor Gretchen Whitmer's ambitious target of reaching 2 million EVs by 2030. The journey toward this goal may be more complex than anticipated, and the challenges at hand are worth discussing. Recent updates from the Secretary of State reveal that Michigan now boasts 85,666 electric vehicles, a substantial leap from just 20,001 around the same time last year. Additionally, registrations for plug-in hybrids have surged from 12,431 to 18,141. This remarkable growth is largely attributed to the various incentives introduced by both automakers and the federal government, designed to bolster consumer interest and ease the transition to electric mobility. In the past year alone, the state experienced an impressive 72% jump in EV registrations, totaling 35,931 new vehicles just since June 28, 2024. However, against a backdrop of roughly 8 million total vehicle registrations, EVs still represent a mere 1% of the market. This figure tells a more complex story of adoption and highlights what's at stake. While federal incentives play a crucial role in this increase, the looming threat is the possibility of cuts to these initiatives under the Trump administration, potentially muddying the waters further. Despite the progress, consumers still face significant hurdles, including high purchase costs, expensive battery repairs, and the persistent issue of range anxiety. A recent AAA survey indicates a notable decline in consumer interest overall. Only 16% of U.S. drivers now express a likelihood of purchasing an EV, down from 25% in 2022. The variations we see in interest towards fully electric vehicles underscore lingering consumer hesitations, noted Greg Brannon of AAA. This situation poses an undeniable challenge for Governor Whitmer, who has laid out a robust strategy through her MI Healthy Climate Plan, aimed at ensuring the necessary infrastructure for 2 million electric vehicles by the decade's end. Currently, however, Michigan is 1.9 million registrations away from achieving this target. One of the key components of Whitmer's climate initiative involves ramping up public charging facilities, an area already moving at a snail's pace before attempts to halt federal funding by the previous administration. Despite efforts to stimulate the market, including proposals for state-level rebates and tax incentives to encourage EV purchases, these initiatives have met repeated obstacles in the legislature. Further insights come from industry professionals like Robert Maxey, general sales manager at a Detroit Ford dealership, who notes that incentives for at-home charging solutions have played a pivotal role in enhancing electric vehicle registrations. The situation has dramatically improved in recent years, especially regarding available charging infrastructure, he shared. For example, Ford has introduced programs offering free home chargers with new EV purchases, making ownership more compelling for consumers. Similarly, General Motors is providing a $500 credit for public charging stations, while Stellantis has rolled out options allowing customers to select between home charging units or $600 in charging credits upon acquiring new battery electric vehicles. These offerings not only help in reducing upfront costs, but also make the idea of switching to EVs more palatable for potential buyers. In addition to incentives, consumers can benefit from a federal tax credit of up to $7,500 when purchasing eligible electric or fuel cell vehicles for personal use within the U.S. Yet, This financial aid could be in jeopardy if proposed legislation aimed at eliminating it moves forward. One of the enticing aspects of owning an electric vehicle is the cost benefits in terms of fuel. According to Patrick DeHaan from GasBuddy, charging an EV can be significantly cheaper than fueling a traditional gasoline vehicle, typically around 1/3 of the gas price. For instance, charging at a Tesla supercharger can cost between $10 to $15 for a full charge. A comparative assessment by DTE Energy revealed that registering a Ford Escape Platinum could incur monthly gas costs of approximately $189, contrasted with an estimated $76 for a Ford Mustang Mach-E. Meanwhile, a plug-in hybrid like the Ford Escape would cost about $47 monthly to operate, highlighting the long-term savings potential. However, challenges such as range anxiety still pose concerns for potential buyers, particularly those questioning the ability to find charging stations during travels. Many express worries ranging from planning trips to the northern regions of Michigan to navigating charging resources effectively. Last year, a team from Bridge, Michigan undertook a 5-day EV road trip around Lake Michigan to gauge the feasibility of long-distance travel with electric cars. Their experiences underscored that the limited availability of charging stations can lead to considerable stress while on the road. They found themselves spending over 27 hours charging a rented Chevy Bolt, which translated to $108. But with a conventional gasoline vehicle, the fuel costs would have been closer to $175 at the same distance. The intersection of public policy, industry dynamics, and the challenges of infrastructural development paints a complex picture for Michigan's electric vehicle future. Are we ready to embrace the switch to electric cars despite the roadblocks? Or will the hurdles prove too daunting for widespread acceptance? This conversation invites readers to reflect on the impending shift toward electric vehicles. What do you think? Are electric vehicles the future we should wholeheartedly embrace? Or do you foresee challenges that could stall this momentum? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.